She's 21, she's from the Philippines, and she reportedly just walked into a $7.4 million tournament, stared down the world number 10 across the net, and refused to blink. Stick with me for the next few minutes, because by the end of this you'll understand why this single match might be the toughest test of her entire career, and why almost nobody saw it coming this fast. Alexandra Aar isn't supposed to be here yet, not according to the rankings, not according to the seedings, but apparently nobody told her that, because she just beat a top 3 player in a title match, cracked the world's top 20, and turned every arena she's touched this summer into what fans are calling a Filipino fiesta. Now she's got Amanda Anisimova, a 2-time Grand Slam finalist, standing between her and a 4th round spot in Cincinnati. This isn't an underdog story anymore. This is starting to look like a takeover. Here's the twist that makes this one impossible to script. These two have allegedly never faced each other. Not once, no head-to-head, no history to study, no old scars to lean on for confidence or caution. Everything gets decided live, in real time, on a Cincinnati court that has quietly turned into something close to home turf for Eala, thanks to a wave of Filipino and Filipino-American fans who've reportedly followed her across the entire summer swing. This matchup carries weight far beyond one scoreline too. For Eala, it's reportedly become a defining chapter in the most important stretch of her young career. For Anisimova, it's another step in what's allegedly been a slow climb back toward the player who dominated the back half of 2025. Two very different stories, colliding on one court, with zero margin left for error on either side. So let's break down exactly how both players got here, because the road tells you almost everything about what's coming. Eala entered Cincinnati as the tournament's 17th seed, the highest seeding of her career so far. After a first-round bye, she opened against Romania's Elena Rus, and it turned into a statement. She dropped her very first service game, then reportedly ripped off 6 straight to close the opening set 6-1, before racing out to a 3-0 lead in the second, when Lightning suspended play. Rus was reportedly dealing with a right foot issue during the delay, and never returned to the court. Final score, 6-1, 3-0, retirement. Not the ending anyone wanted to see, but the tennis Eala produced before the stoppage looked dominant, almost surgical. Her return numbers reportedly read 71% on first serve points and 78% on second, numbers that would be a genuine weapon against tougher competition, which is exactly what's waiting for her next. On the other side of the draw, Anisimova handled Turkish rising star Zeynep Sonmez in straight sets, 6-2, 6-3, weather delay included. The 9th seed looked composed from start to finish, flattening her ground strokes and taking time away before Sonmez could settle into any rhythm. When Anisimova plays like that, she is reportedly one of the hardest competitors on tour to deal with, and that version of her should worry everyone left in this draw. Tour analysts had this collision circled the moment the draw came out, the 9th seed against the 17th, on a direct collision course, and both players delivered exactly on that projection. But the stakes go beyond just Wednesday. Whoever survives, this is projected to face 6th seed and reigning Wimbledon champion Linda Noskova next, and that's where things get uncomfortable for Eala. Noskova reportedly already owns a clean 2-0 record over her this season, a 6-2, 6-0 result at Indian Wells, and a 6-2, 6-4 final loss in Berlin. Both lopsided, both still fresh, and if Eala somehow keeps winning past that, the path allegedly runs through a quarter-final against Jessica Pegula, the same player she beat in the DC Open final, a semi-final against Elena Rybakina, and a possible title match against world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka. It's a brutal, unforgiving gauntlet, which is exactly why this third-round match plays more like a must-win than anything else on her calendar. Now let's actually talk about who these two competitors are, because the contrast in their stories is enormous. Eala is 21 years old, from the Philippines, currently world number 20 and seeded 17th. She's left-handed, and hang on to that detail, because it matters more than it sounds like right now. She trained through the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, built her name as a junior Grand Slam champion, and has reportedly converted that promise into senior tour results faster than almost anyone projected. Her 2026 season has been transformative by any measure. A historic Wimbledon run put the entire tour on notice. A maiden WTA title at the Wimbledon DC Open on August 3rd, won by defeating world number 3 Jessica Pegula, reportedly made her the first Filipino player ever to crack the world's top 20. Then came a fourth-round run in Toronto before a loss to Bencic, in a tournament where crowd support apparently grew so loud that fans nicknamed the venue Barangay Toronto. Her game leans on an aggressive lefty forehand that lets her control rallies from any corner of the court, paired with a return game that's reportedly been elite all summer. That left-handed serve creates angles that right-handers rarely train against, especially out wide in the ad court, and she plays with a hunger for big moments that doesn't match her age or her ranking. Beating a top 3 player in a title match is proof she doesn't freeze when the lights get brightest. But the question marks are real too. Consistency against opponents who can match her raw power has reportedly been the deciding factor in her losses so far, and Noskova has already exposed that twice. Can her aggression hold up against someone hitting just as flat, just as hard, with more physicality behind every shot? Keep that question in mind, because the next 2 hours are going to answer it one way or another. That brings us to Anisimova. She's 24, American, world number 10, seeded 9th, right-handed with a two-handed backhand and a career-high ranking of number 3, reached just this past January. Her story might be the most remarkable in the sport right now. She reportedly broke onto the scene as a teenager, reaching the French Open semi-final at 17 back in 2019 by beating Simona Halep, then stepped away from tennis entirely in 2023 to protect her mental health. Her return to the tour became one of the genuine feel-good stories in the sport, and she said publicly that other players reached out to tell her it gave them permission to prioritize their own well-being too. The results back it up. In 2025, she reportedly won WTA 1000 titles in Doha and Beijing, reached the Wimbledon final, reached the US Open final against Sabalenka, and finished the year inside the top 5 for the first time in her career. But 2026 has told a different story. She split from her coach in March. A left wrist injury allegedly wiped out 2 months of the clay season. She looked rusty on return at the French Open and exited in the 3rd round. She couldn't repeat her 2025 run at Queen's Club. At Wimbledon, she flashed some promise, picking up straight set wins and showing encouraging signs on grass. But the free-flowing, dominant version of Anisimova has reportedly been harder to find all year. Still, she's top 10, still a 2-time major finalist, and on hard courts, where her flat, aggressive ball striking finds its truest home, she remains one of the most dangerous competitors in any draw. Her strengths are legitimate: elite striking off both wings, exceptional depth and pace that rushes opponents before they can breathe, and proven composure in big moments, having reportedly beaten Sabalenka at Wimbledon and pushed her to a tiebreak in a Grand Slam final. That kind of mental toughness doesn't just disappear, but when her level dips even slightly, that low margin style can turn error-prone fast, and that's exactly the version of Anisimova that Eala needs to find on Wednesday. Line them up side by side, and the gap is obvious. Eala, 21 years old, ranked 20th, seeded 17th, left-handed, 7 wins in her last 8 matches, a WTA title over a top 3 player as her signature result this season. Anisimova, 24 years old, ranked 10th, seeded 9th, right-handed, coming off a clean straight set win with back-to-back Grand Slam finals as her career headline. Rankings favor Anisimova, resume favors Anisimova. Head-to-head is a complete blank, 0-0. But trajectory right now clearly belongs to Eala, and it isn't particularly close. Here's the part that makes this genuinely hard to call though. These 2 games overlap more than they clash. Both are baseline aggressors. Both like taking the ball early, flattening it out, and ending points on their own terms. Neither is a natural grinder or counterpuncher, which means this likely won't be decided by one player forcing a passive opponent into a losing pattern. It'll come down to who executes cleaner under pressure, who serves more efficiently, and who wins the first strike battle on return. Remember that left-handed detail? Here's why it matters. Anisimova reportedly hasn't faced many high-level lefties this season, and the mirror image angles a left-hander creates, especially out wide in the ad court, can disrupt years of muscle memory built against right-handers. Expect Eala to lean on that wide serve early and often, using it to open up her forehand into the empty court, a pattern that's reportedly worked against multiple opponents already this summer. Longer to that is Anisimova's sheer physicality and pace. When her ball striking is fully on, very few players on tour can absorb and redirect it. Her flat backhand in particular can overwhelm opponents who haven't hit full physical maturity yet, and at 21, Eala is reportedly still growing into hers. That physical gap is real, and it tends to surface in longer rallies, which is exactly why the return games will likely decide this one. Eala's return numbers against Rus, 71% on first serve and 78% on second, were extraordinary, even against lighter opposition. If she brings anything close to that level against Anisimova's serve, effective but far from her most dangerous weapon, Eala should get legitimate break chances in nearly every service game. On the other side, Anisimova's return has reportedly been sharp all season, and it was central to her biggest win of last year, the upset over Sabalenka at Wimbledon. A few smaller factors are worth flagging too, because in a match this tight, any one of them could end up deciding it. Freshness is one. Eala's second-round match ended in retirement, so she reportedly never had to grind through a full three-setter to reach this point, which in a fast-stacking tournament schedule is a small but real recovery edge. Then there's the crowd. Cincinnati has quietly become something close to a second home for Eala, with the Filipino diaspora reportedly showing up in massive numbers across this entire hard-court swing, creating an atmosphere that visibly lifts her when matches get tight. Playing in front of a crowd that's completely and loudly behind you against a higher-ranked opponent, still searching for her best tennis, can genuinely swing breakpoints, tie breaks, and the moments that matches turn on. And finally, weather. Rain has reportedly already disrupted both players' runs in Cincinnati once, and another delay at the wrong moment could shift momentum in ways nobody can predict, especially in a match this evenly matched on paper. There's also the physical toll of the run itself. Eala has reportedly played some of the most emotionally charged tennis of her career this summer, and matches like that can drain a player just as much as they build her belief. Anisimova, meanwhile, is allegedly still working her way back into full match rhythm after a stop-start season, which means neither player is walking into this one at a true, fully tested peak. That uncertainty is part of what makes the outcome so genuinely hard to project. So, bottom line, can Eala actually win this? Yes, and the case for her is stronger than a simple ranking comparison suggests. The numbers on paper favor Anisimova, and if she shows up anywhere close to her 2025 peak, she's the more dangerous ball striker in this matchup, and the more experienced closer when sets tighten up. That much is real and has to be respected. But form isn't just a number next to a name, it's a trajectory. And right now, Eala's is pointed sharply upward, while Anisimova's 2026 has reportedly been defined by a coaching change, a wrist injury, an early exit, and a slow rebuild back toward the level she played 18 months ago. Eala arrives having reportedly won a WTA title over a top 3 player, pushed deep into the second week of Wimbledon, and gone 7-1 across her last 8 matches. She's playing with full belief, backed by a crowd that will be entirely in her corner, against an opponent still finding her footing. The path to winning runs straight through the return game, straight through a left-handed angle that Anisimova simply hasn't had to solve very often at this level. And if Eala locks into that pattern early, if she lets the crowd carry her and makes Anisimova feel the weight of a season that hasn't gone to plan, this isn't just a match she can win. This is a match she looks built to win. Whatever happens on Wednesday, this match already tells you something bigger about where women's tennis is heading. A 21-year-old from the Philippines, training out of an academy in Spain, is reportedly forcing her way into conversations that used to be reserved for established top 10 names. And a 2-time Grand Slam finalist, still just 24, is fighting to prove that her 2025 breakout wasn't a peak, but a preview of what's still to come. Neither player asked for an easy draw, and neither one is getting it. So who actually takes this one? Drop your prediction before the match starts, because I want to see how many of you called it right. And if you want the full breakdown of Eala's projected road all the way to a possible final against Sabalenka, that's coming next, so stay subscribed for it.